We gotta do it just like ATP in every way. Start out with some fucking weird retro game song. Oh, of course. Alright, boys and girls, welcome to the Nebraska FGC Musings podcast with your boy MKL. Today we have two guests joining me today. We have the illustrious King George, and we have the immortal Dame. Come on, Dame, don't be shy. Oh, he's silent. So today I wanted to just give it a little bit of an intro to the podcast. This is basically going to be dealing with the Nebraska FGC primarily, but we will also go over just certain like national events occasionally. Sometimes we'll go over like some Twitter happenings, whatever's going on. But, you know, for the most part, we want to stick to the script on Nebraska. So, yeah, I guess we could get an introduction from King George. Tell the people who you are and who you is.
Yeah, I'm George. I'm mostly a Tekken player, but I'm trying to get into Grand Blue. I'm constantly ducking because of work, and so I'm sometimes at tournaments, but usually not.
Shout outs to Single Barrel.
That's right. Good way to stick.
And let's get a little bit of an intro from our boy Dame.
Up everyone, Dame here, from Lincoln. Play Tekken, and I partake in a bunch of other games, degrees of success. I'm an anti-ducker. You'll usually see buckles in tournaments, and I'm always up for a money match.
Always up for a money match.
It's money match in Tekken. It's money match in Tekken, Dave.
All right, I got you.
We already get money matches just in among us three. I think that's a good sign. So
I didn't know Dame was about it like that.
Yeah, I didn't know he was that into the money matches. I'm into the money matches. So yeah, I guess the first topic I wanted to get into was our entire Discord has been redesigned essentially to focus on the coronavirus problem going around. And I figure we shouldn't talk about the Discord redesign, although it is majestic. We should be talking about how the coronavirus is just straight up murdering tournaments left and right. And I think it was Tokyo Masters got canceled the other day. Shitloads of like gaming conventions are getting canceled. How worried are we that this is going to continue in the next few months? Dame?
Well, yeah. Just looking at Twitter, you see like Fighting Tuesday and canceled. Hopefully it doesn't stretch on to like Combo Breaker and stuff, because I was looking forward to going into that.
Yeah, if Combo Breaker gets canceled, that's fucked.
That it's not just like FGC events either. It's just various things getting canceled like worldwide. I know my workplace banned travel or whatever, like work travel. So it is getting pretty serious.
Yeah, it's definitely getting serious. I think it's blown out of proportion at the moment, but goddamn, like
yeah, people are treating it like an apocalypse and buying out all the supplies at your local.
Yeah, shit's fucked. George, you serve people food all day. How worried are you gonna get some coronavirus?
I'm not really worried I'm gonna get coronavirus. And plus, I don't think like my restaurant is going to get affected too much. I think like Chinese restaurants are definitely going to get a lot less business because of it, you know, just because of ignorant people. But I'm not personally worried too much. And as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know, not many of my like ingredients or anything that really come from China. So I don't know about depleted inventory or anything like that.
Well, shit. I hope this just gets serious enough that I can just continually call out from work. But then I can't even go to any fighting game events because they're all fucking canceled.
See, that would be my dream if somehow this prevented me from going to work for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, you need a
'Cause I could
vacation.
really use a vacation. Even if I just had to stay quarantined inside my house, I would not mind that.
Well, then you should be wanting coronavirus, dude. They'll quarantine your ass so fast. Well,
See,
yeah.
I mean, does Nebraska even have like any cases?
I don't think so, but they actually
Don't-
like took a bus full of people who were quarantined to like Ashland, I heard.
The most cases I've heard is in like Chicago and stuff, but the Midwest is mostly untouched.
We got fucked up immune systems because we have brutal winters, so I think we're gonna be okay. Well, I mean, that really honestly covers it for coronavirus. Everyone's worried, shit's getting canceled, and I mean, our entire Discord is reflecting the state of panic right now. So we might as well move on to the Evo entry numbers, which I have a little graphic here even to display. Does everyone know the list, or should I run through it really quick?
I think I have a pretty good idea, but you should run through it just to be safe.
Yeah, so we got number 1, we have Smash Bros, Ultimate's gonna take it.
Of
Number
course.
2, I'm surprised that Street Fighter V is still keeping the highest fighting game slot at Evo. And then number 3 is quite interesting. What do you think it is?
Tekken.
It's actually Grand Blue. Grand Blue is 3rd right now.
How much does Grand Blue have? Do they have numbers or just?
They don't have numbers yet, but I mean, it's one of those things where Evo is quite a while away, so not many people have registered, I imagine. But I think the Grand Blue hype, it was released at the perfect time for Evo. But we'll get into that in a second. Number 4 is Tekken 7. It's still super good. Dragon Ball Fighters, with its new season is at 5. You would expect it to be maybe a little higher, but I'm surprised it's even at Evo. 6 is Under Night, which that's another one that just got a new version released, so interesting. Number 7, second to last, is Soul Calibur 6. This is the first time Soul Calibur's gotten a second year at Evo since Soul Calibur 2, so looking shitty right now.
I'm kind of surprised that it was even in, but I guess with the tour and everything.
Yeah, I'm really surprised it's in too. But I'm more surprised that the next game is in, and that is Samurai Showdown, dead last. So what are the standouts so far? Dame?
SNK has to have a game, right?
First off, Grand Blue making it to 3rd is pretty impressive over Tekken. It's one thing I didn't expect. I guess it's like the game that's popping off right now, so everyone's excited at it, and they just want their shot of making it far into the pools or whatever. But I think last year Sam Show had the same effect, where there were a bunch of participants that had it as their side game, but a lot of people dropped off from that, and I guess they're...
I agree with that. I think Grand Blue kind of has that. It's an easier game, so people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna play Grand Blue on the side."
There is a lot of shades of Sam Show from last year, but I will say, I think people will stick to this game, or not 100%, but I think they're more likely to stick with this game just because it's prettier. I mean, there's fucking anime waifus, which brings in hella weebs, and apparently Grand Blue is a humongous IP, so I think it might have a chance to continue the Evo effect right now.
Grand Blue is big in Japan, but how big is it in America? Is what I'm wondering.
It's not really big in America.
It has a huge footprint in Japan, but yeah, it's not that known.
But the FGC pretty much just wants to be Japan, so we're gonna act like we like Grand Blue. So yeah, I agree. Grand Blue is definitely the standout from what I see here, and it's March, so they're not 100% going to shake out like this. But yeah, impressive. George, what's your interesting readout from this?
I'm surprised. I mean, just on the games that were announced, I'm surprised there's no NRS game. I'm surprised. I'm kind of surprised Soul Calibur came back, and I'm not too surprised about Samurai Showdown, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't there. But as far as entrance, it seems to be following kind of what I expected. I kind of did not expect Grand Blue to blow up that much, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I wonder how Grand Blue is going to do, like, because Sam Show had like a ton of entrants at Evo, but at like regular, tournaments, monthly tournaments, whatever, I don't think it was really doing that big numbers. So I wonder how Grand Blue's going to do at tournaments compared to Evo.
I think it's pretty fascinating for sure because, I mean, the Samurai Showdown IP in general is like kind of nobody gives a shit unless you were playing arcade games in the 90s, whereas Grand Blue is just like, it's barking up a different tree. So I could see it going the way of Sam Show and nobody playing it outside of huge majors. But I like the game. We'll get into it because we're gonna like get into the individual games but yeah, you brought up a really good thing, which is there's no NRS game this year, and that is really surprising. I don't remember the last time Evo didn't have
especially considering they're still in like their combat pack and they haven't even released like Spawn and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there must be some strange politics going on because I saw Sonic Fox literally said like he knows some like shady shit going down, but I mean the only reason
it seems like Sonic Fox. Sorry, it seems like he's like not that interested in NRS right now because I know he said he was going to compete at like all these different games at Evo.
Yeah, he dabbles into a lot of things, but which ones he actually sticks at and gets good at is a different story because I can't tell you the amount of times he's tried to get into Tekken and tweets about it and then
gets bodied. Just like Street Fighter 5.
But yeah, when Gil came out, then everybody was like, oh, check out Sonic Fox Gil.
Yeah, we enjoyed ourselves for 1 week, and then Punk smoked him like 40-1, and we're like, okay. Maybe Sonic's not that good at a game he hasn't played since it was released, basically. Yeah. Yeah, I always love the Evo lists because it's kind of a microcosm of everything that's going on in the scene, which is Smash Bros is way bigger than we will ever be. Any of our games, in fact, all of our games combined, smaller than Smash Bros.
I mean, did you hear they came out with they're coming out with like a tour or something?
I did, but I don't.
Oh yeah,
with like 250K prize. And Tekken World Tour is just sitting here like.
Let's get into that actually. Let's impromptu. Do we know if Nintendo is sanctioning it?
They are not.
They're not involved. So just a community effort with $250,000.
I mean, I don't know too much about it, but I think Twitch is probably putting up some of the money. Maybe they got some other sponsors they're going to announce or whatever.
I think it's Twitch and Smash GG that are sponsoring themselves because I think Nintendo has a hard stance of not being involved in any competitive Smash.
Right. But how does Smash GG got that money? Does Smash GG make a lot of money?
Dude, I have no idea. Fuck their website, first of all. I don't know how they make any money off of it.
How do they make money?
That's what I wonder.
With that, I hate Smash as much as anyone, but good for them. Good for them. They deserve a tour.
That's just, I hope, every scene in the FGC needs to take this as an example and say, this is what, the developer support is nice, but if you really love your game, this is what you can do.
Yeah, because I mean, the only developer that actually puts a lot of love and care into their like prize support for a long amount of time and a lot of money is NRS. And I mean, right. Capcom and Namco do their little tours and shit, but they're fucking not worth shit. Well, never mind. Sorry, they did do some big money SF5 ones. I forget about that.
Right. Street Fighter 5. Around 250K, I think, these days.
I think so, yeah. And they have like they like sell skins that fund the prize pool?
Yes, they do. Or they did at least. they had like those weird little Capcom skins, and I think if you buy the one that was designed by the tournament champion from the previous year, that goes to it as well.
Sell the skins and the stages to go to the.
I mean, my thing about like all this is like, yeah, more money in the scene is great, but like to think about it from the top down, like they're gonna do this, you know, $250,000 Smash World Tour. Like the people that are running this tour, how much profit are they coming out the end?
Oh, I'm sure so much money, because people would be surprised at how profitable running a tournament is. Even back in the day when, like, you know, final round was a good
See, I don't know
tournament.
anything about that. I'm just wondering. It just seems to me like it'd be hard to make money with the cost, like the upfront cost of all this stuff.
Well, I mean,
Renting the venue. I don't know if they pay the volunteers or if they have employees or whatever, but it seems like it'd be a lot of money up front.
I think Red Bull even runs their stuff at a loss just for the advertisement of their, you know.
Yeah, Red Bull's advertising the product, but like if it's like just like Smash community heads, I guess they're advertising Smash GG. They got Twitch's blessing. I mean, but the Smash tournaments take a lot of viewers for sure.
yeah,
Do
they're
that
going to get
translate to
stream
money?
revenue, and they're going to sell tickets to this shit, so I think they're going to be fine. But,
They'll find a way to make money. It's a
yeah.
bunch.
That's just my one thing about like, you know, people complain about Tekken World Tour doesn't have enough money in it. But I don't know, from the outside it's hard to see how much money Namco's actually making off of it.
It is hard. Well, this is the best-selling Tekken game since Tekken 5, so they're at least...
Clearly something's working.
Yeah, something they're doing is working. Well, that was a nice little side tangent. I don't want to continue to talk about Smash because I feel my brain imploding a little bit. So let's move on to the state of Grand Blue in the state of Nebraska right now. Started off Mr. Dame.
The state of Grand Blue and the state of Nebraska. Well, I think it's fair to say that we did not expect to like this game this much. I think that's the sentiment from just about everyone. Everyone's getting into it. The 3D guys, the 2D guys, even the anime boys are starting to like it. And we're all having our big tournaments, having Iowa come over and have Uli beat over half of them. It's just a good time. Everyone's having Nick's taking the tournament. Life goes.
Well, it might be a different story now that fucking people can buy the game and not have to jump through hoops.
It's finally out in North America, so they don't have to jump through a weird Hong Kong PlayStation Network account just to buy the.
Oh yeah, you both own the game from Hong Kong cards, right?
Yep.
I bought the Japanese version. I game shared with Yamato before he knew that the English dub was actually on the Hong Kong and Singaporean versions or what.
Oh, that's why I can't read shit on your console. Yeah, that's a good call overall, though. Nobody really expect to like the game this much. George, what do you think?
I mean, I'm liking it so far. I mean, I'm not like super versed in like 2D games or anime games, and so for the most part, this game seems to be not have a lot of the things that I don't like about it. But I mean, I still get blown up by wake up DPs every time because I still never think to myself, "Oh, he has a move that's invincible and he can just do it." I never think it's an option. So I'm just like, "Oh, I'm gonna get some Oki," and then he just DPs me, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you could do that."
Yeah,
But
this
I mean, the
is
game
your
seems
first
pretty
2D fighter.
Pretty like seems pretty manageable as far as like stuff I have to learn and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
So
the
far,
best
so
part of
good.
the game is like there's even with the DLC that came out yesterday, there's 10 characters. Is that right?
Around 10. I think it started with 11 and then it got cranked up to 13 with the latest DLC.
Oh damn, 13 characters? Ah, that's a lot of matchups. And the best part about matchups is that there's a lot of universal systems and everyone, I don't want to say plays the same, but they all obey Grand Blue's rules.
Right. I think this is honestly, out of all the fighting games out right now, this is the best game to learn fighting games with
Oh, absolutely.
because of the system mechanics, as you mentioned, are pretty universal. And you've got your basic characters, and you have characters that follow the rules but have their own little. I don't know how good the tutorial is because it's all in Japanese and it's kind of a pain to read. But maybe you guys have an idea.
The tutorial's not bad. I mean, it just teaches you how to do everything, and then it has like some matchup stuff you can learn and combos and stuff. So
ArcSys is pretty good at tutorials usually, so I'm kind of hoping. I tried to download the game and I realized that PS4's Wi-Fi is fucking god awful, so I canceled that shit and I'm trying to move it over to download it on my Ethernet, but give me a second.
I was saying my whole thing about, I just think that fighting game tutorials, like, I think it's very hard to teach somebody how to play a game through a tutorial. And just going through and teaching them how to do the things you can do in the game, I feel like it's not super useful in the long term.
I think that's true to a degree, but I think even the scrubbiest non-fighting game player can benefit from just like the game telling them what is even a possibility. So, like if they say that, if they even describe an uppercut as being invulnerable, that can like click in anyone's head, So I think for the people who want to learn, those type of tutorials are really beneficial.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
I mean, I haven't played Grand Blues yet, but I know that like Xrd and even Unist had a really good tutorial that like described it in a nice like non-technical way. And I feel like that's the way we convert the non-fighting game players into fighting game players, is kind of like indoctrinating them slowly just by them trying to get better through tutorials. But there's no tutorials in 90% of the fucking fighting games. Yeah, that pretty much goes over Grand Blue, though. I think we all love it. We're getting good numbers. There's a general interest across the FGC. Lots of buzz. The DLC just came out. Some weird horned purple-haired girl with big tits is on everyone's screen right now. So, yeah. Grand Blue, big thumbs up from me. This is the one I wanted to go into Uniclear, even though none of us play it. I kind of just wanted to go into the thoughts of, like, what everyone has been telling me is that the game is kind of ass, and everyone's disappointed. What have you guys been hearing on the Twitter sphere or wherever the fuck you follow?
I'm definitely disconnected from the Unist community. But I don't even know, is it a standalone expansion or is it DLC?
I think it's DLC.
It's a free expansion, and you have to pay for the DLC character.
I see.
So
I do know that that new character they released has the ability to hard fucking reset your PS4, like through a sequence of events. Like, that is very easily, like, replicatable.
right. From booting the game, you can get to crashing the game within 13.
Yes. People are speedrunning how fast they can get their PS4 to crash right now because of the new update. And it's funny because it happens from, like, this freeze. So, freezing the actual it's there's something there. That's really all I have.
Another thing I wanted to
go on.
Wanted to discuss about units is how a lot of the top heads of the game are kind of giving off this bad stigma about it, and that kind of makes other players.
Dude, that's a really good
See,
point.
like
to bring up.
Red Blade is trolling with his Wagner, needs buffs, and etc. And this community kind of follows that, and
Yeah, if I were to want to become a Eunice player and I was like reading posts and shit and I saw like Red Blade and all those fucking morons, I wouldn't want to be a Eunice player. Like their entire community seems like a bunch of whiny bitches. Like your talent, yeah, the top talent of your game needs to act appropriately because I mean they're kind of the faces of your game for better or worse. So when Red Blade's the fucking face of your game, you got problems.
It's one thing when it's one random stream monster saying it, but when it's Red Blade,
Yeah, he's just like a complete Twitter troll, but he brings it everywhere he goes. And it's like so stupid the things he says. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like they don't like it, like the Twitter troll Eunice players don't like it, but it sounds like a lot of like the mid-level players who really loved Eunice specifically are getting really frustrated, especially the ones that never played the vanilla version of it, which was a broken fucking game. Yeah,
I only played Eunice for like 3 hours, so I can't really comment too much.
Oh yeah, I think we both played it for like 3 hours and then had like a first to 10 and never played it again.
the way
Mercado
interesting
was
because
kinda
the way it was introduced to a lot of people was that it's anime Street Fighter, but it really wasn't. Even Grand Blue today is closer to that than Eunice.
Ugh. I mean, it goes to show that despite such an amazing amount of effort to get French Bread to release this, French Bread is getting their shit pushed in by the players that wanted this game in the first place. Like, come on now. Don't bite the hand that feeds.
I like Eunice just because I thought it was funny that somebody called that one bar, they called it the Road to Evo bar, and I'll never not laugh at that.
I've never heard that. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Now, if only I could watch that bar
I
while
still
I
never
play the game.
understood what that. I still never understood what that bar was for, but I hear it's pretty important.
Yeah, it's very important. It's
I just
basically
love the Road to Evo bar.
Yeah, it's basically the road to Evo. If you use that bar well, you're going to Evo. Wow, we spent way longer than I thought we would on Uni. Good for us.
Sounded like a real podcast.
Yeah. Now we're going to get into what we all play. I think it's not maybe all of our main games, but I think probably close to it. It's Tekken 7. Let's talk about the state of Tekken 7, the Fuck You Mean DLC, the Leroy nerfs. Let's break it all down. Let's start with Leroy nerfs from our Leroy main, King George.
Leroy nerfs, I think that they did a good job. I think Leroy is still probably easily top 10. And I think people just need to stop bitching. Like, there's always going to be a best character. Leroy's one of the best characters. Get over it.
Yeah, I mean, I think
his hell sweep is reasonable, I think.
Okay, his hell sweep is actually reasonable, but down 3-2 is not fucking reasonable.
I will agree with that. I will agree with that. No doubt about that.
So yeah,
that's the thing. That's the thing about it is like everybody's complaining about his hell sweep. Everybody's complaining about his hell sweep. I'm sitting here like I'm just using down 3-2. Like, what are you gonna do about down 3-2?
You can't do nothing. I mean, it's so annoying because
if you block down 3-2, like it's just not straightforward. If you block the hell sweep, boom, launch. You get more damage if you launch it.
Yeah, what is it? -12 if you block the second hit, which is high. But if you were to say if you blocked it, I think it's -12, right?
Right.
So yeah, down 3-2 is a low-high string from Leroy that puts him into his stance. And if it hits you, it puts him into the stance at enough frames to interrupt anything you do, basically. And he has what, 3 lows from it that are pretty good?
Yeah, he's got, I think it's like 2 lows.
It's 2,
yeah.
Back the homing
4
one
and then
the 3,
4.
Yeah. And then he has, I say that the mids are a little bit, they're not 100% reactable, but some of them definitely are. What's the mix-up mid? I forget. Is it 1?
Yeah, 1 is the one that's Sabaki parry.
Yeah. So essentially,
I mean, he could do. Well, actually, I think the 1, if you do that, I'm pretty sure you could react and block it.
that
But
one's totally reactable.
he could do 4. 4 is the one that's unreactable, and then that leaves him in the stance at plus frames if he hits you.
Yeah, so that's the one.
And he can go into 4, 1+2 as well if he wants to go for.
Right.
That's the general vibe of Leroy. Is he kind of feels like, what's his name? The guy who fucking also is the head of Soul 6 now. Whatever. Okubo. There we go. Okubo worked on Soul
What's
Calibur.
the feel of Leroy?
And then, yeah.
You feel like Leroy is...
I definitely feel like Leroy is a Soul 6 character, but a bad one.
I think that... Honestly, I don't know. I think like probably the most reasonable guess is they made him OP so they would sell more Leroys. But I don't know. I just feel like they haven't done that with any of the other DLC characters, so it's unlikely they would do it with Leroy. But they just didn't realize how broken Leroy would be.
I don't know, man. Do you remember a little character called Geese Howard?
I think Geese was deceptively not broken until people figured him out. And then it was like, oh shit, this character's actually trouble.
But was Geese released to be buffed to sell geese?
I think Geese was just
strong.
I think Geese was just broken from the beginning, and people just didn't realize like back 3-2 was like the juice. Like people early on were just using a lot of sidestep 4, using a lot of down forward 1-1, and then they finally realized no, that's just back 3-2.
Yeah. It took a long time to adapt.
What are they gonna do about it? What'd you say?
It took a long time to adapt to how to play Geese for sure, but he was busted. He was definitely busted.
But even to be fair, even from the beginning, like people were playing Geese and beating really good players. Like obviously, I'm not talking shit on anybody because they could all whip my ass. But Trungy was playing Geese right when he came out and was beating like, if I remember right, he was beating like Kakoma and all these dudes from Korea, and then everybody's like, oh. Trungy just picking top tiers. But, at that point, Trungy was like one of the few people that was actually putting Geese on that level.
That is the big difference between Geese and Leroy from a mid-level player's perspective is Geese didn't fuck people up in the mid-tiers. So he didn't catch the heat that Leroy did. Because Leroy, he's pretty fucked up if you're some mid-level scrub. He's unbeatable.
Right. I mean, the thing is, I never played a single. I played probably like 2 Akumas in my whole online Tekken career, and probably like 2 Geeses in my whole online Tekken career.
I swear I still have never played an Akuma. I played 1 Geese, and it was Jamar, and I lost to him.
But
You gotta fight Shinjam.
I do need to fight him, but I played a Geese actually not too long ago. I was playing Eddie, and I was just sitting there like, oh, he's just gonna like. I was just sitting there like back 3-2, like back 3-2. I think that move just needs more haters. I think more people need to realize that move is really, really, really good.
It's still good, but it was absolutely ridiculous before it was nerfed.
True. And the thing is, like Akuma, I still think Akuma, when Leroy was at his prime, I still think Akuma could give Leroy a run for his money any day of the week.
I think so for sure. But the thing is that we're going to later on in this podcast get into tier lists, so I won't go into this too much, but I think a lot of people who hated Leroy and gave Akuma the benefit of the doubt are just bad players because they're more using what they have seen and what's beating their ass versus what's actually objectively strong in the game. So, I mean, it's just suspect opinions.
Yeah, I could agree with that, but we'll get into that later.
Anything on Leroy?
Yeah, I think Leroy is fine right now.
I think Leroy's.
Oh, you cut out. Say that again?
I said I think Leroy is fine right now as well.
Same.
He's normalized. He still has a bunch of good shit, but that's just a character.
Yeah. I mean, according
I will
to
say
JDCR,
about
go on.
I will say the 12 frame counter hit mid, I think is fine because I think every character. I kind of wish more characters had like weird moves that were like really good and nobody else had, like Yoshi Flash. Like even King has 4/4 neutral 1+2, which is 10 frame startup. Although when you execute it, it's longer, it's faster than 12 frames. But it's 12 frame, or it's 10 frame startup mid, counter hit, knockdown. If you're at the wall, it's counter hit like 70 damage free. Like,
yeah, I like that.
I think more
as
characters should have kind of weird moves that are like nobody else has framed it like this, but it's not broken because of either the range or the recovery or whatever.
Yeah,
like
that's
what
they need to figure out.
It's like
though.
9 frame. Xiaoyu has like a 9 frame move or something like that, and it's like, oh well, it has like no range and it does like 1 damage. So
yeah, essentially they need to balance him around back 1+2. Then he has a little too much range at the moment, I think, to have back 1+2.
Yeah, back 1+2 itself was pretty fucked up back when he was first released too. Plus on can punish it.
Yeah. And like back 4, like they need to just actually delete back fucking 4 if he has back 1+2. I think.
I do think back 4 is like underrated for Leroy's.
It's hella underrated.
Like
it has
the
so
moves
much
that
range.
people are complaining about it, I think that move is underrated.
Because like the big thing is Leroy is very weak to sidestep left, and he doesn't have great range outside of a select few moves. So back 4 ties the fucking room together, especially when he's supposed to be a close counter-hitty mix-up character. He's not supposed to have that much range.
I can agree with that.
That's true.
I think like down 1+2 back when it was, plus on block and all that, like it didn't track that well. But then, he makes you scared by hitting you with that back 4 over and over again.
Yeah.
It tracked his weak side, which made it essentially almost homing at that point because
Exactly.
you'll be stepping him that.
You couldn't step it to his left, which is where you want to be stepping. So yeah, it's basically a fucking homing
Yeah,
move.
I think that was the one move that made him ridiculous on release.
Yeah, down 1+2 was done. Yeah, it was really dumb. But that move basically got deleted in the patch, so I think we're...
Yeah, all you get from it now is, I think, a floor stomp after a counter hit, as opposed to...
You can get like dash up forward 1+2, or it's like forward 1+2. It's like a little elbow.
Oh yeah, he got buffed. His fucking G-Cleft cannon, he can get an extra hit after now. Have you seen that?
I have not.
The last hit like stuns them enough where he can get forward 1+2 on them now. And if he's near a wall, he can get the stomp for a full fucking Forgotten Realm combo.
Like, I just think that the Leroy stuff is... I think when he was released, he was the best character in the game. But, like, there's got to be a best character in the game. But I will say, I think, like, people just have been, like, misinterpreting what was strong about it. Like, stuff like 1/1 counter hit was ridiculous. His down forward 1 is ridiculous. Down 3/2 is ridiculous. Hell sweep, pretty good, but not ridiculous.
But when he has all those other fucking things, and then he has a hell
Like
sweep.
back 4, back 3, 4/4 3. Like, come on.
Orbital.
And you're sitting here
came.
complaining about his hell sweep? You're sitting here complaining about his hell sweep? He's got a tracking, like, mid-screen high, +1 on block, 4/4 3.
Shit, dude, that
That
was
gives
like
you
+5
a mini
on block.
combo on hit? And you're complaining about his whatchamacallit? You're complaining about his hell sweep? Come on.
It is one of those things where it's like the running joke is Leroy has everyone's moves just better. The hell sweep's one of them, so I can see why people got hyped about it.
I mean, yeah, I guess. But I think people just... Hell sweeps are good on certain characters, and they're really good on certain characters, but
It's
can't-
good on characters who
a
don't
character's
have
not going to be
down
great
3-2.
because they have a hell sweep,
Yeah. Like, there's no
Every
reason
character
for
in the
him to
game would
use
be
it.
better with down 3/2. Not every character in the game would be better with a hell sweep.
Yeah.
With down back 3.
But when you have bowls...
I mean, yeah, when you have both, that's kind of... Plus, I mean, still, like, take, for example, down back 4. That low is amazing.
It isn't a stagger low, and I don't understand why Lars and Yoshi have to deal with.
He has down back 4, and he has down 2-4. He has like 4 amazing lows. Plus, he's got generic D4. What are you doing to Leroy?
So
he has 4 lows I would use instead of Hell Sweep. And then even if I do use Hell Sweep, it's still good.
I think we're hearing George go from Leroy's not broken, downplaying, to Leroy's broken, upplaying.
Leroy's not broken. He's just, people don't understand him. People don't get him. He's a misunderstood character. Full crouch down, forward, 4 with Leroy. Incredible.
You know, the whole character, I'm still not convinced he's not the best in the game personally. So I want to see what happens.
I think it's Akuma all day. I think it's Akuma all day, every day.
I really want to see that matchup. We were gonna see it at Tokyo Masters, but good old coronavirus. So when's the next Tekken Major?
It's been a minute.
Yeah, is it Combo Breaker? Seriously? In May?
I think it might. Final round, maybe?
There is final round.
I mean, even if, like, we need, like, what's his name? Atif Butt. We need that other guy, Super Akuma.
Those guys, those Pakistani players are already getting banned from traveling now that coronavirus is going around. It's going to be real tough for them to get to places.
I bet. Seriously.
Yeah, that's the problem with this coronavirus. It's getting away my Tekken World Tour.
What am I going to?
Yeah,
exactly.
Moving on a little bit to the Fuck You Man DLC. Do you think that was going to be announced at Tokyo Masters?
I thought it was going to be announced before Tokyo Masters because I thought he was going to be released before the tour started. Because they said they were going to do a bounce match before the tour, didn't they?
I think that sounds familiar to me, and that would mean that this month we could expect him out, I think.
That's what I think. But
did it say spring or did it say April? I can't quite remember.
I think it said spring.
Spring 2020.
I think so. Yeah. Essentially, most people seem to have quit Tekken for a second because of Leroy, and I think they're waiting for the Fuck You Man DLC to be released and the balance patch till they come back. So it's kind of been a lull in Tekken at the moment.
Can I just say, all these people that everybody who said I'm gonna wait for Leroy to get nerfed before I play him, what are you doing to yourself?
And after he gets nerfed, they still won't play Tekken.
Yeah, it's the scrub mentality.
Like, all these people say they don't want to play Leroy for whatever reason because he's too powerful. They'll get bad habits or whatever it is. I'm like, you're gonna be 2 months behind everybody else that's playing Tekken those 2 months. Like, if you want to play Tekken, play Tekken.
Yeah.
Nobody cares who you're playing. Just play Tekken. If you want to play Tekken, play Tekken. Doesn't matter if you're playing Leroy or whoever. Doesn't matter if they're gonna get nerfed in a month or not. Just play the game.
Yeah. If you can't beat a mid-tier Leroy, you can't beat a high-tier Gigas. So get fucked. I think really.
I actually had a pretty good tweet about that recently.
Oh wait, go on. Sorry. Yeah. What was the tweet?
Let me see if I can find it real quick. But he basically said, like, you know, tier lists. Everybody's too concerned with tier lists, but he said, like, you shouldn't be focused on how to beat the character. Focus on how to beat the player because a play style can kill a player more than a character can.
Absolutely. This is why you don't see fucking Kokoma losing to some random ass mid-level player.
Yeah, Nee can just random select and beat.
I mean, yeah, as much as the top players were complaining about Leroy, they're not losing to my Leroy. They're losing to, you know, JDCR's Leroy. They're losing to, what's that guy? Chikarun's Leroy.
The best is the players who picked Leroy and lost to other Leroys, because, I mean, that just feels bad, man.
That just means you're just the worst player.
Yeah, picking top tier and then losing to the better player of top tier.
That's why people hate mirror matches. You have to face them. I am the worst player if you...
Seriously. Dude, Leroy mirrors sound like fucking cancer. Oh my god.
Leroy mirrors. That would be tough. That would be a tough pill to swallow.
I would plug on a Leroy if I was a Leroy main. But yeah, I think that kind of rounds out Tekken. There's kind of a lull waiting for Fuck You Man. Leroy's nerfed.
Let me just say, everybody's waiting for this bounce patch to save their character, and it's not gonna work.
Well, if Gigas doesn't get a goddamn buff this patch, there's no hope for him.
They're gonna make his lows not launch punishable. Make him minus 14 or something. The thing about it is like, I don't know. I just think everybody, except for Gigas players, and probably like Lucky Chloe players and Bear players and Lars players are underrating that character.
Dog, I don't know if you know this, but
I think
Chloe's
a lot of characters in this game could do work. And like, I'm not waiting for Harada. Should Eddie get some buffs? Probably, but I'm not waiting for Harada to buff Eddie. I think Eddie's good as fuck right now. I'm not waiting for Harada to buff King, although he will buff King because he has and he loves King. But I'm not waiting for it.
King has been a top tier
second
character
players.
since season.
There's a
1.
lot of shit. There's a lot of shit I can improve on that have nothing to do with my character, but nothing to do with my frame data.
That's what people need to understand, is that the character is just an extension of your knowledge as a player. Tier lists don't mean fucking jack shit to a mid-level player.
Yeah, and I'll keep going back to this, but Rangchu with Panda, if you can win Tekken World Tour, you can go the distance with your character too.
Yeah, that's the thing. He beat Q Dance with Devil Jin, who was probably like easily top 3, maybe top 1 at the time character, and he beat him just by blocking hell sweeps, guessing right, spacing out, sidestepping when he needs to.
Yeah, people are crying about it being
taking
so
advantage.
unbalanced, but it's still Tekken, so any character can win. It's all fundamentals.
All right, that's enough Tekken for now. I think we talked about Tekken.
I think so. Is there anything you guys can think of that we didn't cover?
And I'm kind of a hype about Fakum Ram whenever it comes out.
How you feeling about Fuck You Man, Dame?
Lukewarm. His model looks weird still to me in game. I hope they fix that by the time he comes out, and we can have a good Big Zam character.
I definitely want them to buff his height.
If you make him too big, that's why Gigas is so bad. He's too big. They balanced him. He can't be that big and be good.
But he's...
I mean, I'm pretty sure Marduk is even bigger than Gigas, and he's hella good.
Exactly, I was just going to say.
See, they always make characters big and then bad. All the good big characters are bad. Who's the big character that was good? There's like that guy
Marduk.
from Street Fighter.
Abigail's
Marduk
hella
is
good.
kind of big, but like he's only kind of big. Gigas is big.
I mean, Fuck You Man is smaller than Marduk.
Which is good because every time I try to play big bodies, they're trash. Originally, Gigas was gonna be my secondary in this game.
Oh
Man,
yeah,
he's
we need to
trash.
bring that up actually. I played Stick Gigas against George, and I took like 1 game off his Leroy. So get fucked, all you Leroy down players.
He's right. His Gigas did like 3 things. I was not having fun.
Oh, you was having fun. Don't lie.
Gigas forward 1+2 is surprisingly annoying when you're on the other end of it.
Hell yeah, it is. Especially when I'm mashing it on a stick. All right.
That's the thing, you Gigas players. Just play on stick.
Play on stick, dude. It really extends your forward 1+2 range. Yeah, and with that, I think we can finally close the door on Tekken and move on to Soul Calibur 6. I know George doesn't play this, so what do you think? What do you think this?
Let me get my take out of the way first.
All right, yeah. Let's get George's take first.
So there's 2 things that'll bring me back to Soul Calibur. First thing is, well, let me say 3 things first of all. Everybody says Zos is top tier. I still don't believe it. The 2 things that'll bring me back to Soul Calibur is Lizard Man, or if how Maru has that lightning blade from Samurai Showdown, I can just make the entire match irrelevant and just one shot. Then I'll be back in Soul Calibur.
Hey, we're waiting for the third one.
Oh, the third one was just I don't believe Zos is top tier. I'm not gonna come back to the game because I don't believe Stas is top tier.
Sasu's top tier as fuck, first of all. Second of all,
I don't believe it.
Lizard Man is trash. Dumb to smoke.
Lizard Man is the boss.
Third, let's review your list. Lizard Man, Sasa is not top tier. Oh, Haomaru. Yeah, I'm on board with the Haomaru one. I'm in there. So, Haomaru is coming out when?
And he takes 50% life. Do we even have a release date? I'm not sure they gave us one.
We don't, but I remember with 2B they announced her and it was pretty fucking quick. But I feel like they announced Haomaru like 8 years ago.
They announced him at Evo, didn't they?
Yeah, sounds right. So it's been almost fucking 8 months.
Eons.
Soul 6 is so bad with their DLC. I'll say that right out the gate. Like, seasons for them take literal, like, television show seasons to release everything.
I just don't get why they're not like more communicative. Like if they just said like it's gonna be a couple months or
I would like that, but it's Namco in a nutshell where they either release it 1 hour after they announce it or they wait 2 years with no communication.
I think the difference is just Tekken Team versus Soul Calibur.
But I mean
that is a bit.
I agree, but I don't think the Tekken Team does a very good job either.
I think they do a lot better than Soul Calibur.
Well, I mean, Soul Calibur literally doesn't do anything. So it's
doing nothing.
it's not really something to compare yourself to. That's what I'm saying. So, I guess the big takeaways from Soul Calibur for me right now is the DLC is taking forever, like I mentioned. Season 2, the way it's shaping out to be, is probably the most balanced Soul Calibur 6 has been, but it's balanced in a way where basically everyone is Charlotta from Grand Blue, and it pisses you off to play the game. So that's where I'm at. I don't know how you feel, Dane.
Yeah, that's the kind of vibe I get from dabbling in Soul Calibur. Tekken. It is extremely aggro. Everything does shit ton of guard break damage, so you just have to keep pressing buttons and hope your opponent dies.
Yeah, like
that's how I feel when I play the game. I feel like I'm always stressed because I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna do a plus on block guard break. And he's gonna do it again.
Yeah, your brain is not wired for Soul Calibur. I'll say that.
I'll say the one thing that like just makes me mad, even though it's legit, is like people just do soul charge, and then they'll do like some soul charge move that's like guard break plus on block. And I'm like, fuck.
That's the worst part of the game right now is when you pop... It was this way before Season 1, but it's way worse now. And that's you pop Soul Charge at some dumb time. You get away with it, and then you start launching one single move at them 8 times in a row. And the opponent can't counterplay it because that move is so fucking good.
Like, I know it's probably nerfed now, but like on release, you were playing as well, and you did like I think it's like 6/6 A plus B. It's like the spinny... Yeah. Full screen horizontal thing.
Nah, that
and
shit
it's
ain't
like
been nerfed.
Plus on block, mid, catches 360. And I'm just sitting there like, what do you even do? Like, I can't guard impact. I can't.
There's too many characters.
If I block, I'm going to get my guard broken. Like, I don't get it. Can't press buttons in between. I'll get counter hit. That's how I feel playing the game. I feel like everybody's offense is like, unless you like GI, and even then, like, sometimes they'll just, fuck you up for it.
Yeah, that's really...
I feel like the offense is crazy in the game.
Aswell's, that move has not been nerfed. It's the same, and it's still good. But then they gave everyone that move in their Soul Charge in Season 2. Like, Cervantes has one now.
I mean, I guess that's one way to balance the game. Just make everybody fucking crazy.
I usually like that, but not when I can't hold fucking guard. Like, the game basically is when you, on those old Mortal Kombat cabinets, when you both press the block button twice before the match and it says blocking's disabled, that's Soul Calibur 6.
That's actually every game should just have that as like a cheat code.
I love that.
That'd be pretty
Yeah,
funny
that's
to
my
see people
favorite
play
cheat
with
code.
no blocking. Tekken with no blocking.
Oh my god, that would be a shit show.
That'd actually probably be ridiculous.
Well, what's the best move in no block Tekken? We'll go back to Tekken for 1 second. I think King forward 1 is the best move in the game without blocking.
Without blocking, I mean, the round starts. Whoever has a move that hits one backdash away and is like and can launch is probably the broken. You just do that, get your combo, do that on Oki. I mean, what do you even do on Oki?
But you can still step, so you know King's is homing.
Oh, true. You can step. I see.
King's is homing. It's got hella good range.
But it's not launch on normal hit. You just get plus 12.
Yeah, you
Or
get plus 12
block,
and
so you're plus 12 and you can't block. So you just do that until like what 1-2, 2-1, or you do back 1-2 and just hit.
Yeah. Oh, this reminds me.
Maybe it is King 4-4-1.
No, the best is actually Lily's QCF 3+4 because that would be an infinite if you couldn't block.
We could duck it.
No, on hit it jails the second one.
Sure, but as long as you duck the first one.
Well, yeah, true.
Kings, you can't even duck that one.
Well, she's literally just a Fist of the North Star character. Then, with that, if she hits you once, you're dead. What's the best move? Come on, Dame. You've had enough time to think.
I'm trying to think of maybe Lee's.
Maybe Giga's like one.
Oh, that's underrated.
No, Giga's one you could duck.
It might actually be Asuka like forward 3 or some weird fucking move.
It's probably just Leroy back 4 or something like that.
It's always Leroy.
Sorry,
It's always just Leroy.
Yeah. All right, so now we can move on because fuck Soul Calibur. We're gonna move on to a little bit of a rant about tier lists. Up on my screen right now, I have a tweet from notorious Unist troll School Bus, where he goes on to basically say, if you are not a top like 100 player in your game, tier lists are meaningless to you, and you're doing yourself a disservice by focusing on it. Off the top, how we feeling about that, Dame?
Just off the top of my head, I think tier lists are good in the fact that they provide a way for the community to discuss things, just by looking at how the characters are placed in each tier. And we brought this up in the Discord, but I think matchup lists are actually a lot more helpful than tier lists, because then you can really break down for each character like how the matchup goes instead of just a general overall, this is how I think the character will do in tournament. The more specific you can get is definitely the better analysis you can have.
Agreed, for sure. What do you think about the idea that the only people who can make tier lists and talk about tier lists are the top 100? Is that elitist, or is there any truth to that?
I mean, people are free to make as many tier lists as they want, but the fact of the matter is if you are good at the game, more people will listen to you, and just let people discuss the game freely. And I don't see a reason to put a...
Exactly. The fighting game scene is a meritocracy, where if you're good, people listen. If you're some scrub who thinks that fucking Lars is really good or some shitty character, no one's going to listen to you. So I think we balance ourselves quite well on our tier lists just from a scene perspective. How you feeling, George?
I think tier lists have gone pretty far, like, to damage like the discourse amongst like players and spectators and everything. I think like the way that people think about them, I think it hurts their abilities to think critically about what they're seeing or what they're playing.
Yeah, it's really hard.
And not to say that I don't think tier lists are like inherently bad, but I think that the way that they're used, especially now that people can release controversial tier lists just for Twitter impressions, or they might release they might hide their Twitter their tier list behind sub goals or whatever it might be. I just think that it's not a good way to discuss the game productively. And I think even among like top players, I think you're already a top player. Like, you understand the game at a deeper level. I don't think a tier list is really helping you understand the game on like another level. I just think that not a very productive way to think about it.
Definitely agreed, and that's two sides of the same coin. I feel like Dame has a really good point where tier lists allow you to view the game through a top player's eyes, which is really nice to see like what's viable in a certain way, even though you're not there. And then the other side of that coin is you're not playing the same game as them, so a lot of your thoughts and beliefs on the game aren't accessible to you yet, but you're viewing it through a tier list that's not made for you, which I think is really discouraging for a lot of players, and you can see that with younger players nowadays, I think.
And plus, I just think like players nowadays, like, there's money on the line, there's developers on Twitter, on Facebook, etc., watching Twitch streams. I feel like top players today are incentivized to lie to get certain characters nerfed or certain characters buffed, and I don't like it at all.
Definitely true as well. I mean, look at JDCR's comments on Leroy, for fuck's sake. Yeah, I mean, you guys did it perfectly. I mean, you said the good and the bad with tier lists. I really can't elaborate any further. It's essentially a tool that can be used for good, but is often used for evil, sadly, nowadays. So just be careful. Just definitely be careful what stake you put in to tier lists. And I think that's kind of rounding out my topic list. So I think we can get ready for scene-related bitch callings and shout-outs. Who's ready?
Shout outs to Jeannie for not making it to the Discord call and just stream monstering it up in the chat right there.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, Jeannie's in the chat. Jeannie, I'm your biggest fan.
Shout outs to...
Do we have a bitch calling, though?
Oh, bitch. Who's been a bitch? Jeannie, money match me. Again.
This is the most Nebraska shit ever. Jeannie gets the shout out and the bitch calling to start. Respect.
I'll say my shout out. Let me give a shout out to Awaken Jamar because I want to play him because he's supposedly good at Tekken now.
He beat me, dude.
That's really all that I need to hear.
I mean, everyone's beating me in bracket, so it's not that big of a deal. But still, he did it.
My bitch calling. I don't know. I just call myself a bitch because I haven't shown up.
Good. I was literally, you were my bitch calling, so I can't use it now. Well, damn it. Now I'm gonna have to think of a bitch. All right, let's start out with my shout out. Shout outs to Bishop for finally overcoming the hurdle and believing in himself and taking my ass down. He's come really fucking far in 6 months? I don't even know when he came here, but yeah, good shit to him. But I almost had it. Lily, she's a good character.
I need to go back and watch that set.
It's a good one. There was one moment where I Matterhorned 5 times in a row on block for no reason.
While we're on stream, let's do a match analysis of that final set here.
Next podcast, that'll be the one. All right. And for my bitch calling, let's go with let's see here. Damn it, it's still not coming. It's got to be scene related, which makes this hard. You know what? I'm gonna have to say it's got to be John Fortnite just for making that shitty Seinfeld Kazuya emote be a thing on our Discord. That's got to be it.
Yeah, that's a not good.
But it's perfect because it's called John Fortnite.
The emo game I cannot keep up anymore. I don't even know if that Mario emote is part of the Discord or it's not part of the Discord.
It's
I don't know
part
what's
of
going
the
on
Discord.
nowadays.
You just need to stop ducking locals, stop ducking Discord, stop working so much. All right, let's get back to my
Quit your
real
job.
calling. George.
I'm spending more time at Discord than I am playing fighting games nowadays.
That is true. Me too.
That's the
Me too. Oh man, Eric is surprised that he's not my bitch calling. Of course you're not my bitch calling. I have a man who doesn't play fighting games anymore, and George, he's easy bitch calling. He's easy bitch calling.
He'll join every podcast, join every conversation on Discord, but he won't go to it.
Shout outs to Eric because I'm going to try to steal his Lancelot tech.
Oh, Eric Meyer.
Lincoln.
Which Eric? Yeah, doesn't he play Lancelot?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm trying to steal his tech. I stole his anti-air combo just yesterday.
Keep posting those videos.
Anger Eric. Is that yeah? That's a good one. We're gonna call Eric Meyer Anger Eric from now on. And that's it, boys.
'Cause the other Eric, you're talking about the other Eric, the Bucks fan Eric, right?
Yeah, he's in chat right now. So and he was
I don't know how to pronounce his Discord name, so
Sean Scones. I have no idea.
Sean's.
Schnoz? I don't know.
Sean's
Maybe
Scones.
just give us the pronunciation, the phonetic pronunciation.
Damn it, he's just rambling off the script. Give us the Discord tech, Eric.
Add me on Steam, Eric. I'll play.
All right, we all three say that you're bitch, Eric, on our bitch calling, and that's it. That's the end of the podcast, right?
That's the end
all
of
we
the
got.
podcast.
All right, yeah, boys. We'll see. I don't know. This is gonna be impromptu. I think maybe monthly. We'll see you next month, boys.
Peace
Monthly.
out.
All right, peace out.
Deuces.